Grab your popcorn, dim the lights. It's movie time, we're taking flight. From the silver screen to your earbuds here, we're diving deep, so lend your ear. Action, drama, comedy, gold. Stories fresh and classics old. We'll break it down, scene by scene, from indie gems to Hollywood dreams. Roll the credits, let's begin. Talking movies, where do we fit in? Heroes, villains, twists and turns. The love for cinema always burns. Roll the credits, it's time to see what makes the movies magic for you and me.
Woo! It's a great day to have a great day, and I am having a great day because I'm here with my entire crew. Yes, we are back fully loaded on the show. My cast does not need introduction, but I do it anyway for your benefit because it's so wonderful to hear from them. So let's start with the queen of the Rainbow Bowl herself, reigning, defending, champion, Trash Sandwiches. What's going on?
Oh, not too much. It feels great because here's the thing. Even if someone will beat me this year, they will never take away that inaugural Rainbow Bowl champion crown. So I look forward to the challenge this year. Bring it on.
Yeah, you are the first ever champion. Trash, do you believe in ghosts?
Love it. Yes. And I have had a ghost sighting, but it's like, what? Why do you ask?
Just want to know. I just think it's a good place to start so the viewers know exactly where we're coming from. So so we got an affirmative. To my other side is Jake Parry. Jake, you are not the Rainbow Bowl champion.
I'm not.
You're coming for it this year.
I'm trying. You know, it's a lot. When you have the competition that we had last year, and then it's upgraded this year.
Yeah.
It's getting harder and harder, but you bet your bottom dollar I'm trying.
You know what? I like it. I like it. Jake, do you believe in ghosts?
Of course.
All right. So we're 3 for 3 on this program. We all believe in ghosts. So, Trash, you had a run-in with a ghost, you said.
I did. It was like a friend who had passed away, and it was like not too long after he'd passed. I'd been out of the country at the time, so I hadn't gotten to go to the funeral, like didn't really have that closure. And then I was back in the city where we had both been living, like before I had been away and he had passed. And I was just like walking home one night, coming around the corner, and he just said it was him, and he just said, "Sup, Ariel," like did the little nod, and it was absolutely him. And I was like, oh, that, like, there was something about it that, like, if that's my only run-in with a ghost, I'm like, it kind of gave me a weird bit of peace. Anyway, that's why I said it's a weird story, but yeah.
That's a weirdly sweet story. I like that.
Yeah.
Seth says, I got last. Does that mean you believe in ghosts too, Seth? Do you have a ghost story? Oh, no.
Or is he last in the Rainbow Bowl?
Came in last in the Rainbow Bowl. That's close.
Tough.
I actually know who came in last in Rainbow Bowl. I put them on full-on blast while updating the standings all throughout the season. So you've had a run-in with a ghost. Jake and I believe in ghosts. We love horror movies. You don't love horror movies. Jake, have you had a run-in with a ghost before?
I've had multiple.
I agree. I also feel like I've had multiple run-ins. Do you believe in aliens?
You have to.
You have to.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. No,
That's like my baseline. Can I have a conversation with a person? If they don't believe in aliens, I know that our conversation is going to be no deeper than like nice weather we're having.
Yeah, I think it's just goofy to not think aliens are real with how big the universe is. I don't like to think about how big the universe is because it freaks me out. It gives me an existential crisis. What doesn't give me an existential crisis, though, is the movies we're going to talk about today, because we got a great lineup for you. We got Kalshi Cuts. We got the forecast. So 2 betting segments in a row. And then we're going to bring some hot takes with Hear Me Out. But to kick off the show, we got to make you some money, and we got to hit that country music. It is summertime. And if there's ever a time to play some country music, it is the summertime. Let's get into it with Kalshi Cuts then.
Under the neon lights where the shadows dance, we ride the rhythm, take a chance. Blades of sound slicing through the night. Kalshi Cuts, bringing fire to the fight. Kalshi Cuts, sharp and clean, carving paths in a midnight dream. Feel the beat, let the echoes rise in the heart of the city.
Ooh, it is a glorious time to make people some money here on Kalshi Cuts. For those of you at home who are wondering what on earth is going on with my setup, I am actually not in my beautiful home of Boston. I am in the land, Believeland, CLE to some. I'm in Cleveland, Ohio right now. I am visiting my man's, and I couldn't miss this though. I couldn't miss it being with you people. So here I am putting my night on hold to make sure that I'm bringing you the best movie takes in the game. We are the best movie podcast in the game, if I do say so myself. So let's dive into some Kalshi Cuts here. We're going to start with one that was kind of an overview. We were basically told, like, it was requested by our boss, Seth Wilcock, that we talk about the Smurfs because he's a child. So we're going to talk about the Smurfs, and their line is currently sitting at 45 on Kalshi. Now, I don't know if any of you watched the Smurfs back in the day. On I think it was on like Cartoon Network. It was really when the Smurfs, I think, were at their peak. We've had a few Smurf movies come out since then, but nothing really all that great. However, 45 seems awfully attainable, does it not?
No. I'm a Smurfs hater over here.
Just a straight up hater.
Okay.
I think that line is aggressively high.
Wow. That's 45. Like, that's
aggressively high.
That's a certified rotten.
I'd be shocked to see this break 30.
It's the Smurfs. I don't think there's much that they're going to ask of it.
I think that's the problem, though. It's the Smurfs. Who's asking for a Smurfs movie in 2025?
Who's asking for half the shit they're putting out in 2025 at this point?
It's true. It's going to be my point for a couple other ones we talk about.
Like, listen, we love movies here and we love the movie industry, but there is some stuff that is being put out that is absolute trash. What we didn't talk about though, at the beginning is stuff that we were watching. It's a segment that we normally do, but for time constraints, I removed it. I got to tell you, there is one franchise that they could release 1,000 of them, and I will continue to see it. And that's the John Wick series. Anything John Wick.
Agreed.
I saw Ballerina, loved every second of it. Gratuitous violence, fantastic, absolute 10 out of 10 experience. Oof. What do you mean oof? What are you oofing?
I will let you all enjoy your John Wick. I'm the gratuitous violence is not for me. It's too much. It's just give me a plot. Give me like something.
There is a plot. Fuckers gotta die.
I have to add this now that we're talking about it. If you like gratuitous violence in a movie, there's a movie on Netflix right now called Havoc starring Tom Hardy. You want to talk about gratuitous over the top violence?
I'm in.
Even my wife liked it.
There we go. So it's just good fun. But Trash, you went for your pick for Kalshi. You went a bit more artsy, a little bit more sporty. Look at you, Speed Racer, talking about F1.
I did. I went with F1. Here's the thing though. F1 it's gotten beyond just, I think, the sports sphere recently, especially in the last couple seasons. And it's really entered kind of a next level of cultural consciousness. And like, especially like the girlies love F1. I will say, I'm reading like an F1, an F1 novel. Anyway, Anyway, but they've had success recently with like there's the F1 TV show on Netflix. There have been F1 movies before. I did some little like Rotten Tomatoes research. Also, the Rotten Tomatoes research that really stood out because it's Brad Pitt acting and producing. Brad Pitt has 10 entries on Rotten Tomatoes for acting and producing that have 94 or higher, and like that's a big chunk. Yeah, that's exactly.
A huge amount of movies.
Yes. So I think that 85% for this is attainable. When they did the 2013 movie Rush, which was like the last big F1 movie, I think, like blockbuster of this ilk, that had Chris Hemsworth in it, that was 88. And that was on the tomato meter. Yeah, 88 on the top tomato meter. The popcorn meter was all I could find for the F1 TV show, but that was 61%. So like people like F1, people are into it. I think people will go see it, and I think the critics will like it, and especially like with Brad Pitt, he's a big name. It looks good. It looks like it's got the heart, the action, the comedy.
I'll be honest. I am not planning on seeing this movie. I am I don't love. I saw Gran Turismo. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fine. It just feels like another melodrama sports movie to me, and I just can't do another one of these. And I feel that way about a lot of things, sports movies related. It just is like it's just worn out. It's welcome with me. Jake, are you gonna go see F1?
I am, and I too saw Gran Turismo. I enjoyed it, even though it was mostly neutral. I think its Rotten Tomato score was like 65. But I feel like where F1 is going to be able to succeed a little bit more than Gran Turismo did is Gran Turismo was like kind of telling a true story, but kind of not all at the same time, and was like manipulated in a lot of ways and made more theatrical than the story actually is.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of people didn't appreciate that kind of disingenuous side of adapting a real story to a movie. Whereas this one with F1 kind of being its own thing, being its one real, like true F1 based movie in the past, 10, 15 years, I think it's going to just naturally be more beneficial for taking overs on, and I think that people are going to like this one a lot more, especially the cast is killer.
The cast is
They've
killer.
got some like I think like Lewis Hamilton. They've got some other racers.
Yeah,
I
know
in
they
there,
Lewis,
so, like,
Lando,
they'll get
Verstappen,
yeah,
like the best of the best are in it.
yeah.
Oh, Seth, look at that! Right after I made my point, tried to drop in here with his Gran Turismo knowledge. Seth, we're well aware, and we know Seth is a big fan of racing. Seth's probably bought tickets already to see this movie. Seth doesn't even go see movies all that often. I bet he's going to be sat for this because he loves a good racing movie. I decided to go with a family flick because I'm a softie every now and then, and I can't resist a good Pixar production. And that for me is Elio. And I saw the preview for this when I went to see, what did I just see recently? Lilo and Stitch. I might have seen it at Lilo and Stitch. And first off, I liked Lilo and Stitch. Let me get that out of the way right now. I enjoyed it. This looks so cute. This movie looks adorable. It looks really, really like heartwarming and sweet. And it's all about finding your place and belonging and all that good stuff that Pixar is so amazing at telling stories like, right? So I have this as over 85 on Rotten Tomatoes. I just don't see a way that this movie doesn't hit that. Now, do I think it's going to be a major blockbuster like smash hit? Probably not, right? Like it just maybe people going out to the movies for this. I don't think the marketing's been great on it.
Yeah. That's kind of my sense. Is like, I think the critics will like it. I think it will clear the score, but I don't think it's going to have that big moment in the Pixar lexicon like other movies will. I don't like it's gonna
No,
it
Pixar
looks good.
has
It
not
looks
had
cute, but
one
like
of those in a while.
Yeah,
they haven't exactly.
Pixar's had a real issue, and it's funny. I saw someone put out a tweet that was like, "What happened to Pixar?" And there was a picture of The Incredibles and then Seeing Red side by side, and they're like, "What happened to our Pixar? What happened to our Pixar?" I don't think anything happened to Pixar. I think the quality is just as good. I think they're just telling deeper stories. I don't think they're telling like quite a surface level. I don't think they're trying to be as conceptual with their storytelling as much, right? And we saw them try with like Elemental, where that was kind of a cool concept, but got no marketing push, right? But we got very spoiled with, oh, it's toys, oh, it's monsters, oh, it's fish, oh, it's this. You know what I mean? And now they're just people. Right now, they're not superheroes. They're people. They're kids. They're trying to find their way in the world. And I think people have. I think if I had any advice for Pixar, it would be to kind of dress up these stories with that very simple premise that gets people excited, like, oh, superheroes. But do you think? And listen, we don't tend to go super political here, so we're gonna tread softly, but it needs to be said. Do you think the fact that Pixar has gone away from essentially just cis-het white people as the highlight of their movies has caused the decline in what we're seeing out of Pixar in terms of box office numbers?
No, I think some of it is like they're trying to tell those deeper stories, like you're saying, but they're not necessarily, they're not telling them in that flashy way. And I think they're missing that and that's what drew the people in, and that's how they can more effectively tell the stories. But I think you can still do that with like more diversity represented. I think there's no reason that you can't. It's just they need to, like put a little bit more production, make it less just like, they're people doing things. I guess there's aliens in it too, but just like a little bit, but like the concepts are still like they're not totally thinking outside of the box anymore. Like
I don't think,
they're not as fun. They lost like that whimsy that a good Pixar like what happened to monsters and cars and like those kinds of just different things. And I think that's where like they need to get back into that, but they can still tell the hurtful stories.
Yeah, I feel like what they succeeded with for so long was being able to be that cute kids movie while still telling a really deep story. Recently, they definitely have gotten more storytelling with cartoons kind of vibe. That said, 28 movies, 20 of them have beat this number. I mean, Pixar, when it comes to Rotten Tomato scores, Pixar's still killing it. And if you want to talk about the diversity side of things too, like Soul came out in 2020. Very heavily, focused on African Americans, jazz music, that whole genre. 95% Rotten Tomatoes. So, like Rotten Tomato wise, they've still been killing it. Even
I think Rotten Tomato wise, it's great. I'm saying the box office numbers. I'm wondering if they're suffering from people like maybe this political landscape has caused a bit of a drop. But I do think, to Trash's point, is actually the better point, that there is a lack of whimsy where we were seeing toys and cars, and as Seth alluded to, robots, right? Like WALL-E was a very cute concept that was a very obvious take on global warming, right? And climate change and how we're ruining the world. Like,
but not just like the people in the world.
Not just the people that were like, oh, the world's dirty. It's like, oh, this cute little robot finds another cute little robot. Cars, Lightning McQueen is an iconic character in the Disney universe because, he is Speed, right? Like that's just, it's Owen Wilson as a car. Like, what more do you want? Tom Hanks is a cowboy doll. John Goodman is a big fluffy blue monster. It's fantastic, right? I think we need to get back to a little bit of that. I'd like to see a little bit more conceptual ideas with these stories. I am going to give Elio the benefit of the doubt though on this one and say that I like the alien take on this. He is a person with aliens in that are like around him. I like this.
He goes to space.
I think this could be cool. So I'm going to say that this is going to be a return to form for Pixar. Jake, you opted for what is potentially the blockbuster of the summer. And you went with the Man of Steel himself, the reboot of the reboot of the reboot of the reboot.
How many reboots is that?
Superman.
Too many. And I'm going with the under here. Much like I alluded to, a little bit earlier with the Smurfs movie, I don't really know who's asking for Superman anymore. Like, the story's been told 1,000 times. It's been told how it was intended to be told. It's been remixed. It's been chopped and screwed, however you want to talk about a remix.
It's gotten the Nolan kind of treatment, right? Where it got darker and grittier, and they were like, it's not just the essentially the Hulk Hogan of superheroes, right? Of like, eat your vitamins and say your prayers, brother. It's
I don't know. I just don't know. Again, I don't know who's really asking for it. And I mean, if you look
say they are now like 3 for 3 on the last 3, and I'm counting the CW show. What absolute babes they got to play Superman lately. They are just absolutely hitting home runs. Look at this man. Gorgeous.
They cast well. I'll give them
shocked to find out he's American. Shocked. That stunned me. This man looks British all day long.
But if we're talking about just the Superman genre and this line specifically, the last Superman specific movie to beat 85 came out in 1978.
Oof.
Yeah. Like,
it's just not the story that people want anymore.
Okay, Jake, question, because I know you have all of the lines forever and ever. Have you pulled what the other like DCU movies have done on Rotten Tomatoes? Because I wonder how that compares. I think that 85 is wildly high. I think it's way too high for this. There's not a chance, but I'm curious.
You know what they're doing? They're giving James Gunn a huge benefit of the doubt that he's going to take I'm going to say this. This isn't even a hear me out, because I think this should just be like absolutely agreed upon in the world. Superman is the most boring hero. This is why I don't think DC. I don't think DC translates well to movies because their heroes outside of Batman are incredibly boring. And they're all wildly overpowered. They're just so overpowered.
Here's the list of anything DC related that has broken 85. Suicide Squad.
James Gunn.
Shazam. That one was surprising.
Wow.
What?
Yep.
That definitely surprised me. What did that get?
90.
Imagine.
Whoa.
So, and then the sequel got like a 30. I mean, the drop off was crazy.
Wonder Woman. And then season 1 of Peacemaker. Like, that's it. It's not a, like you said, it's not a universe that translates. I mean, hell, the last Superman movie that we got from DC, 2013's Man of Steel, got a 57. Like,
oof, God,
this is not a good line.
I keep saying that, but like, yeah, no, I know that they are trying to get the people in the seats with the James Gunn name and the hype on that, but I think that superheroes in general are kind of like been there, done that. We're all sick of superheroes, right?
You have to be creative with them. And it's just when you're telling the same story over and over and over and over again. Like, I think that's why Marvel has been so successful is they've been able to build fan bases around all of these ancillary heroes. Whereas DC is like, we got Batman and Superman. I hope they can carry us for the next 37 years.
Yeah. And
they can't.
I can't with Superman. It's so boring. It just is an absolute snooze fest of a character to me. Like, oh, and he's like all powerful, can't be stopped except by like a pebble. Like, just stupid. I don't know. It's just absolutely dumb to me. All right, we're gonna pivot. We're gonna move on to our next segment. Let's go to the forecast. Let's talk a little money. All right, so we're going to start out the forecast with our unanimous agreement right off the bat. I think we're pretty in lockstep a lot on the forecast. We tend to be right, so listen up closely when we're doing this because we make you money. All of us have made money on our bets, so it's kind of we're batting pretty high percentage here. We looked and saw 28 years later opening. Domestic box office opening weekend, the line is set at $45.5 million in the United States. They might get this out of me alone.
Honestly.
Like, that's such a low number. Why is that such a low number? And it's going off at minus 140 if you bet the over. All of us picked the over. We all took the juice and said, yeah, no, this movie's going to do well. It had the best trailer. I've said this every time we've talked about this movie. Yep. The best trailer I've ever seen in my entire life. Do you know how many trailers I've watched? Do you know how many movies I've gone to and I've seen trailers for? For me to say it's the best one I've ever seen in my life, that's insane. And I don't even say that hyperbolically. That's truth. That's like, I would put my hand on whatever you wanted me to put my hand on and swear to it.
And we got a new trailer like a month ago that was almost as good, if not as good.
Yeah.
That got 8 million views on YouTube. Like,
8 million views on YouTube, right? So now that means people are going. Like, that's hype. People are hyped for this. If every single one of those people goes and sees this movie, I mean, think of it. That's what, $15 a ticket? I mean, that's already $110 million, right? Like, right there.
I mean,
in the opening weekend.
Sony Pictures India posting the trailer, getting 405,000 views. Like,
yeah,
this is highly anticipated around the world, not just in the US. It's been, if you are on my side of YouTube that I'm frequently on, which is like people reviewing this type of media, it's probably the most hyped thing that we've had in the kind of horror zombie space.
Yeah.
It's also gone beyond that because even like the sound of that, the marching cadence or whatever you want to call it is, I would say a trending TikTok sound, but I'll be honest, because I'm old, it's Instagram for me. But, you know, the Instagrams when they make their way over from TikTok, but still.
Oh my God, you're on
it's a
Reels.
trending sound.
You're on Reels?
I'm not on TikTok.
That's awful.
I'm like barely on there, but I'm not on TikTok. So if I'm gonna watch some, at least I'm not watching them on Facebook. No.
Why?
Because I'm too old.
I think I'm older
And my
than
wife's
you.
not either.
You're not.
We're like the same age.
I still am too old. Metaphorically, emotionally.
Well,
I refuse. I can't.
that's why I date younger. I, keep myself young and hip with the times. Jake, is your wife older or younger than you?
She's 6 months older than me.
Oh, cougar.
She is.
Nice.
My boyfriend's 10 years older than me.
Oh, okay. See, look at
Yeah, so
that.
it's just
So
you.
that tracks.
Look at this. Look at this. Boom.
Oh, Seth! No!
That tracks, though.
Well,
that
Oh,
tracks.
man.
that checks.
Seth's been 50
We
since
love
he's
you,
been
Seth.
5. That's Seth in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's me. Me now that
yeah.
I'm 30. I've been 30 since I was born.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're hitting your
Well,
stride
that's-
now, though. You know what I mean? Like Jake's
I've
been looking
always
forward to
thought
this day for a
grandma.
while. Jake's like, this is good. This is good stuff.
Oh, I hate it. Everything
Jake's
hurts.
like, Jake went out immediately on his 30th
Oh, no,
birthday.
I'm embracing.
Jake bought the New Balance sneakers. He went out and mowed the lawn that day. Got those bad boys nice and grass stained.
I did
I'm
just buy a
making
pair of
my
Nike Air
mom-
Monarchs this weekend.
Did you?
Yeah,
Oh.
Nice. All right.
I am-
Nike. What's that? What are you saying?
Nothing. Nope. We're good.
You're making your mom?
Nope.
Okay. We're moving on.
We can move on.
We're moving on. All right. Freakier Friday is coming out. Blast from
Speaking
the
of
past.
moms.
We're getting more Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis in our life. How wonderful. First off, do you guys plan on seeing it?
Absolutely. But like not in theater because you know me.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll probably wait till it's on streaming.
I'm also gonna wait till it's on streaming. Actually, you know what? It may catch me at a time where I'm like, you know what? I have some time to kill. I might go see it.
You love the movies.
I'm at the movies all the time. I
know.
You guys will text me and it'll be like, what are you doing? Or Seth will be like, hey, can you do something? Like, I'm at the movies, dude. Like, no, I can't. like my brother will text me the day of his wedding, be like, where are you? I'll be like, I'm at the movies, man. Like, come on. You know where I'm at. The question is, will the phrase make good choices be said in the Freakier Friday film? This is another unanimous yes.
We all said yes.
This is a minus 500 bet.
Jamie Lee Curtis posts on Instagram and uses this as a caption like 4 times a year. There's
This,
no
to
way
me-
it's not.
This
being
to me
said.
would be like saying, will this words, may the odds be ever in your favor, pop up in the Hunger Games? Of course it will. Of
This
course
is like-
it will.
For me, this is like, will the word "the" appear in the movie?
Yeah.
Will somebody say the word "the"?
It has to appear in the movie. It's like the line, right? Like, come on. That and
Also, I need to say, I at first was like, do we need another Freaky Friday reboot? Blah, blah, blah. I watched the trailer and was instantly sold. I
It
am
looks
super
good.
excited. The fact that
It
they
does.
have, obviously, like Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis back is a big boon to it. But yeah, it looks genuinely good. Like they
It
did a
does.
good job with. They have a fun little twist on the plot. They have like, I'm sure, little throwbacks to it.
of course.
It's great. I'm excited.
I'm psyched. You know what? I will go see it in theaters. Now that I've said this out loud,
it.
I will go see
Do
it
it
in
for
theaters.
all of
First off,
us.
do it for Lindsay Lohan, right? I feel like that girl went
Yes.
through the ringer for us. And like
For
now
real.
she's back. Whoever her plastic surgeon was
She
that
is
fixed her face,
working.
like she is gorgeous again. Lindsay Lohan is back. And I'm in for it.
Mhm.
Like, what a
Mhm.
queen. Iconic trajectory of like top of the world, bottoming out, bouncing right back, giving us exactly what we want out of Lindsay Lohan. You know what, girl? You kill it. This
When can we get a Parent Trap?
a Parent
Revival,
Trap
reboot,
2?
twist?
Yeah, you know what? I'm in for that
Anything
too.
Parent
I would
Trap,
love that.
Absolutely in.
I would
need
love
it.
that.
I
We're
can
getting
live
a second
without that one.
everything. We're getting a second everything. Did you say no?
It's not a no as much as it's a like. I feel like the window was missed. I don't know how they're gonna
No.
do the story again with Lindsay
No.
Lohan as
I
a
don't think we
40
need the
No.
story again. I
Because
think
it's
we need to-
Lindsay Lohan's daughters who don't know that they exist because the mothers got in a fight. And then they go to summer camp and they meet each other and it's a parent trap, but instead it's it's their parents and they're parent trapping their mothers back together in friendship.
Or,
Anybody considering making that movie? This is all copyrighted. You cannot take Trash's idea.
yeah.
Trash
You can if you
requires.
pay me.
I was
Wait a
gonna
minute,
say
hear me-
requires payment.
Hear me out on this one.
I'll
right?
do it for money.
Maybe they don't get into a fight, but maybe maybe the sisters are going through marital troubles each, just like the parents were originally.
Okay.
They each have twins that are identical to each other, right? Because they're, they married identical twins.
Yeah, it's one of those.
They say, our parents are going to split up. We'll swap and save each other's parents' marriages. Boom, you got a second one right there. Easy.
Okay.
Easy. And then you don't have to retcon the first one. Trash and I will happily sign on and direct this thing for free.
Yeah. Like, just please.
I'm
Jake
happy
will
to.
not be involved in this.
Jake can be a boom
clearly
mic
grumpy.
operator. I feel like Jake could be a great boom mic operator. I feel like he's pretty tall. Like, I think he's almost 6 feet tall.
I'm 5'10", barely, and my back would hurt trying to hold a microphone up all day.
You can sit.
I had a weed whack yesterday. I'm still recovering.
That's why I live in an apartment complex. I don't do lawn work. I don't do lawn work. I don't believe in lawn work.
Yeah, it's the worst part of owning a house. I'm not.
I think it is. I think that absolutely is. All right, let's talk a little magic, because this line is absolutely ridiculous. How many times do you think the word magic will be said in Now You See Me 3? Over or under 16 and a half times? I went with the under. That it feels like, Jake, and I think you'll appreciate my reasoning behind this. I think they're going to zombie the word magic.
I could see it. Like, so every time my wife goes out of town, I'm inevitably laying in bed with the dogs and have no idea what I'm going to watch.
Jake has 12 dogs, by the way.
Only 5 if you count the one I'm about to adopt.
It's extreme.
Every time my wife is out of town, I inevitably end up watching Now You See Me and Now You See Me 2. It's just, I put one on, the second one comes on, I end up staying up way later than I planned,
of course,
and I watch both of them. They say it a lot less in the second one than they do in the first one, and I feel like that trend is going to continue. I feel like there's going to be more focus on the eye and that side of things than there are going to be on the word magic.
So I'm going to give... I do, and I'm going to give a really big disclaimer that this comes from the AI snippet at the top of Google. So, like, I fully am not fact-checking this, but according to that, the word magic is said 22 times in Now You See Me and 32 times in Now You See Me 2.
I don't feel like that's... I feel like that's flipped.
I don't know. Maybe
Jake
we'll watch them. Which one do you want to watch? And I'll take the other and we'll count.
Okay, I'm thinking about it now. They do say magic store way more times than is necessary.
What about magic trick?
No, they don't really say that. They talk about things being like
what is your
deception.
Favorite? You are an expert on this. What is your favorite trick in the Now You See Me franchise? Trash, if you're familiar with it, you can chime in too. I have a pick as well. I like when he freezes the rain.
Yeah, that one's cool.
I think it's just Jesse Eisenberg's performance where he's like, and stop. And it just was very showmanship. I love that. Jesse
Eisenberg, by the way, very underrated actor. We're going to talk about him more later.
Yes.
I would say my favorite trick is probably the bubble.
All right.
And Now You See Me Too. Just because, like, you can tell she's on a harness, but you can't see the harness. And that's what's so impressive about it to me.
If we did a Mount Rushmore, we'd have to do. We would have done it on magic movies.
Yeah, we absolutely could do that. Halloween time. I will say my
big bucks.
Yes, my favorite trick is definitely the one with Isla Fisher in the piranha. Only because that stops my heart every single time, and I'm like, is she gonna make it? And I've seen that movie so many times. I own it on DVD, and I still have that. And that's, I think, the sign of a good trick there.
Apparently she like actually almost died or something.
Yes, I've seen that.
Yeah.
And apparently it's something similar is coming back in the third one.
I can't believe she would ever do it again. I'd be like, no.
I'm surprised she agreed to do this series again.
Yeah, they all thought it was good acting. All right.
Yeah.
We got some time ahead of us. I wanted to dedicate enough time to hear me out because we have a lot to talk about going into this segment. So let's hit that drop and let's piss off some people.
Maybe nostalgia's got you blind, or maybe I just see it right. I know you wanna shout, but before you shut me down, just hear me out. Hear me out. I'm not afraid to take the heat. Hear me out. I'll die on this hill if I need. You can fight it, you can hate
was in such an emo place when I wrote that song. Like it just like, and then I did the video to it, and it's so happy. Like it makes no sense, and I love every second of it. But I wanted to start this out because I asked the IBT team, our entertainment team, for some hot takes, and one jumped out to me right away. And someone said that Timothée Chalamet is on a goated trajectory as far as actors go. The likes among the names like Leo DiCaprio and Marlon Brando. And that just set me on like fire when I heard it. My question is to the two of you. Do you think Timothée Chalamet is on that level? Thank you, Seth, by the way. That is a absolutely banger drop. I agree. Do you guys think Timmy is that dude? You think he would put him in the name in with Leo and Marlon Brando and guys like that? Jake, why don't you kick us off?
I think in 10 years we are.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, like, so you look at how quickly he kind of came onto the scene. Like, obviously it wasn't quick. He's been acting since the late 2000s, early 2010s in TV shows and whatnot. He's done theater productions, but so he starts ending up in films. He's in Interstellar. It continues on. You get Hot Summer Nights, which was good. Lady Bird. You keep it going. You get The King. You get Dune, and then he gets Wonka. Dune continues to kill it. He absolutely kills it as Bob Dylan in A Complete Unknown. We're getting him in Marty Supreme in a Josh Safdie movie coming up here soon. Like I struggle to see a world where he isn't kind of in that echelon in 10 years. Like the trajectory is there.
I don't see it in Timothée Chalamet. Here's what I'll say about Timothée Chalamet. I think he is a great actor. I think he's a great indie film actor, though. I don't love him in blockbusters. Every single time he's in a blockbuster, I feel like he's the odd man out. He's just like this weird, like, standout amongst like all these people who are very good at blockbuster. Like in Wonka, Wonka was not it. That was a swing and a miss. I think overall. I don't love Timothée Chalamet when he's in something that he has to be big. I don't think that's what he does well. I think there are some actors that, we've talked about it plenty of times on the show that do something. I can't believe Seth has seen Hot Summer Nights. Like, he just interrupted my point with this insane comment. And I'm just like sitting here. I'm like, what on earth? Like, on my bingo card of things that Seth would have seen, this would have never popped up. I could have listed 10,000 movies I thought he saw before Hot Summer Night. Although Seth watched like Snack Shack, which I had watched on a plane flying back from London, like sobbing the entire time. Sobbed like at the end of that movie, like crazy. Seth's like, have you ever seen Snack Shack? I was like, what a weird pull. But anyway, Timothée Chalamet is in that list of actors that does something impeccably well, but it doesn't translate to other things. Like, it's like the Tom Holland effects. Tom Holland is incredibly good at crying. He is one of the most convincing criers I've ever seen in my life. Like, it's absolutely heartbreaking every single time that dude decides to shed tears. Anything beyond that, I think he's fine. He does a decent enough job, but it's whatever. Timothée Chalamet, to me, plays soft boys really, really well. I think he does that particularly well. Beautiful Boy, I thought he was really good in, right? Like, that's obviously a different take. He's like an addict, but he's still playing like a soft boy that has become a drug addict, right? I just don't see that, like, even as like Paul Atreides, right? Like, he gives this big, massive speech, but it's really amped up with like all this music and extra sound and all this stuff. And they had to make him bigger, right? Like, they had to boost him to give him that gravitas. Trash, am I off base here? Am I just totally off kilter?
Well, so here's the thing. You're not wrong. And I had this light bulb moment partway through, because you're not wrong that he is that like soft boy, sad boy energy. Like, he does lend himself much better to some of those indie flicks. However, I think it's that he's on the legendary trajectory. He's not yet there. He's on his way there. And the light bulb moment for me was, I thought back, and in particular, I thought about Leo, and I was like, What were Leo's first big films? It was Romeo and Juliet and Titanic and other like soft boy
Now
films.
You See Me, or not Now You See Me, but Can You Catch Me? Catch Me If You Can, whatever the hell it's
Catch
called.
Me If You Can. Yeah. And now later he gets into the like Wolf of Wall Street, like those kinds of roles.
But I think by the time he was Timmy's age, wasn't he doing some like The Departed by the time he hit Timothée Chalamet's age.
Maybe, but I think Timothée Chalamet is already like kind of. My parents know who he is, and like I'll just say that means something. Like if middle-aged parents know who he is, that's
I
like.
don't think he's on a bad trajectory at all. I just would hesitate, and I kind of don't put Leo quite in that category of like the greatest of all time, but I do think he's great.
It's more Oscars.
Like I think when I say the greatest actors of all time, I think Denzel, I think Hanks, right? Tom Hanks, Denzel. Sure, I'll give Marlon Brando like a nod.
So maybe then he's not heading into that category. I see him in like a Leo mold, I guess. I see him going that way.
I see him falling just short of Leo. I think he's in the trajectory. I think he's in a Brad Pitt. I'd say he's like a Brad Pitt like trajectory.
I think if you compare the first 10 years of Timothée Chalamet to the first 10 years of Leo, I think Chalamet's better. And that's not to mention, like, I've got a list of some records that Timothée Chalamet has set or broken. He's the youngest actor to be nominated for 2 Best Actors before he was 30. He was one of the first actors since John Travolta to have 2 films domestically gross over $200 million in a short period of time. His box office total of movies he's been in is over $3 billion. He was the first actor ever to star in 2 Best Picture nominees in the same year. Like,
I think he's
there's
done
a
great.
lot.
I think he's done a
him.
lot of really good stuff. I don't think when I think of like a great actor, when I'm like, oh, who do I want to play this role? Like when I think of the greatest actors, it's like, can they play any role? Can Timothée Chalamet play any role? I don't think so. Like, you know, and I know he's got his issues. Like, and this is all subjective, right? I'd put Johnny Depp as one of the greatest of all time in terms of acting. I know he's got these other issues to worry about with Johnny Depp, but in terms of like, does this dude vanish into a role? Absolutely, right? What role can't Johnny Depp play? Because he's played Whitey Bulger, he's played Willy Wonka, he's played Jack Sparrow, he's played Edward Scissorhands, he played Gilbert Grape, he was in Nightmare on Elm Street. I mean, Johnny Depp really runs the gamut.
Johnny Depp is like overtaking all of those roles, and I think Timothée Chalamet, like, he's not that kind of actor, and maybe he will be in time. He's not there yet, and maybe that's like his skill that needs to develop, but they're just like, they're different molds of actors because he like sinks into a role, whereas I feel like Johnny Depp, like,
you know what he does, and I think
steps up. I don't know.
Yeah, not Seth. Jake and I have talked about this quite a bit, and now you've been brought in on this conversation too. Of when I watch Timothée Chalamet acting, I go, wow, that guy's acting really well. But I'm very aware that he's acting. He doesn't vanish to me. Now, Denzel vanishes. Denzel is whoever he says he is. Tom Hanks is whoever he says he is.
While I do understand fully where you're coming from here, I mean, if we're looking at, again, Chalamet being 29, 30, like Johnny Depp's first role that I think we can all agree he absolutely killed it in Edward Scissorhands, that was when he was 27.
What about when he was in What's Eating Gilbert Grape? Was that before or after?
That was after. That was when he was 30.
Fear and Loathing? Fear and Loathing?
Fear and Loathing was
after.
Also after.
But like those are the things that I'm listing that, like, and I listen, I like a good Oscar win as much as the next guy, but Anna Paquin has an Oscar, so I can't like quite like just slap Oscars on like everybody and be like, that means you're the best actor. Like, you did a good job, but Anna Paquin has one, and like that's bothersome, right? Like, we've all realistically, like, the Oscars have a weird history of like Cynthia Erivo should have won this year, and so should Ariana Grande. They both should have walked away with Oscars this year.
And Leo should have won way before he did.
Leo should have won.
Not wrong.
On a movie he didn't deserve to win.
Oscars are screwed up.
Leo won on a movie he didn't deserve to win on. He should have won for like Django or Shutter Island or whatever, right? The Departed. Like, he should have won for other things than what he won for. So sometimes the Academy, to me, has a problem. I would say I'd put Timothée Chalamet in the category of actors who are like very good.
And again, I agree he's not there yet, but at the same age, Johnny Depp really wasn't either.
I guess so.
The filmography Johnny Depp had done by the time he was 29 years old: Nightmare on Elm Street, Private Resort, a small role in Platoon, Crybaby, Edward Scissorhands, Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, and that was a cameo role. Like, if we're talking film, it's hard. You're going to be hard pressed to find a guy who's been as successful as Chalamet has from the ages of essentially 20 to 30.
Yeah, he did have a great decade. He had a great decade. I'm curious how his career is going to. I wonder how his staying power is going to be when he kind of loses that like boyish charm a bit, like that look.
Yeah. I mean, like if you go to what I think most people, our generation, probably when they first really came to know Johnny Depp, you would say more than likely is like the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Like that's when he got really
on the map.
That was when he was 40.
Yeah.
Like Chalamet's got time.
He's got time, but he's got to figure it out. He's got to figure out what he's going to be. He's got to figure out what he's going to be. I think he has to pick a trajectory and like stick to it hard. And I wonder if he's going to be able to do that. But we have a few more takes that we want to get out of the way and debate over. So, Trash, I love yours. So we're going to start with yours. What happened to the summer movie? Explain what you mean by this.
So the summer movie, I think, is a beautiful genre of summer movies. And like I chose Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants for this image, but it's beyond just that kind of movie. It is anything that is like kind of that takes place over the summer, end of school year. You could add in like a Dazed and Confused, a Booksmart that last like right before graduation or end of the school year, your last hurrah, your coming of age. High School Musical, Camp Rock, like
Blockers.
Any and all of those. Yeah, Blockers. We haven't had a good movie like that in years. Like Blockers and something like that was, or Booksmart was probably some of the last ones. And that was like, we got like one maybe every third year. We haven't had one. And like, I look at all of the summer movies that were coming out for this episode, and I was just thinking about it, and I'm like, they're all good movies, or like, there's some good movies that are coming out. None of these feel summery. They just feel like they're movies released in the summer.
Yeah, it's become blockbuster season.
Vibe.
Yeah, it's become blockbuster season.
Yeah, I think
you can do a summer blockbuster.
That's the thing, is I think the summer movie genre has gone more towards kind of like the indie side of things. I feel like when you look at the blockbusters, like they're always going to make more money. So that's what they're going to lean to. Summer is when the most people are home and have the most free time. So the theaters are going to want to push, the blockbusters during that time. But I mean, like, there's some really good indie movies that are based in the summer, like Snack Shack that we talked about earlier.
I was going to say, if you haven't seen Snack Shack, I so recommend that movie. What an absolute tearjerker it is.
And I believe, you're not wrong. I want summer blockbusters, though. I think we need to have all of them. I think there's just not enough.
I think that's absolutely fair. Like, where is that, that end of the year, like, Project X? That's a good end of year kind of thing leading into the summer. That's all good stuff. I like that. I'm with you.
I do too.
I think movies have gotten too serious.
I think
they are too serious.
I think my only pushback would be, there are summer movies. They're indie movies. They're amazing. They're done better than 90% of the blockbusters were. It's just a lot harder for us to find them now, or they're just like Netflix originals.
My old ass. That was one that I think I turned Seth on to. I wrote that. And
that was a great movie.
That movie was unbelievable too. If you haven't seen that, I highly recommend it. It's another summer movie, but again, it's not a blockbuster, right? Like I am absolutely with you. Seth, we're not talking about Can't Hardly Wait. Stop it. It just, he loves that movie. It drives me crazy. No, I think movies have gotten too serious. I think movies take themselves too seriously. Like every single time a movie comes out, they're like, it has to change the culture. It has to be like, so I'm like, listen, what happened like the Judd Apatow R-rated stupid movie? Like Anchorman.
Cancel culture. I mean, honestly, like people are just afraid to do that kind of thing anymore.
But people are smart enough. Like I hate that argument because like people are smart enough.
I agree. I just think
you think that that's what happened. We just lost it to people being overly cautious because people aren't that sensitive. Cancel culture is not what people think it is, and it's not even really that existent.
When I say cancel culture,
without getting canceled.
Yeah.
I feel like it's people are just afraid to find ways to push the boundaries like they used to with that kind of summer coming of age thing, especially with all the pushback that we get now when I don't know, you see a TV show where there's a relationship between a 19-year-old and a 40-year-old and everybody gets up and like Euphoria kind of dealt with that a bit when there was the whole scene with Eric Dane like that whole character arc that he had. Like,
right.
I think people are afraid if they don't do it in a dark way, kind of like Euphoria did, that they are going to get quote unquote canceled for it.
And
they don't want to deal with that drama.
Not see the dark way. I don't want to see teenagers doing drugs.
I don't want to see that.
I refuse to watch Euphoria.
Seriously. Like, they take it so seriously. They're like, oh, look at what's happening. I'm like, no, give me an idiotic 40-year-old that thinks he's cool and hip and with it and hot and like is dating a 19-year-old. Like, give me that, because that's a way funnier way to take on that. Give me some like
really old people having a quarter life crisis who go back and be like summer camp counselors.
Yes.
You know, that's comedy gold, and you don't need to get someone canceled with that.
The way back. The way back. That's the movie you're looking for.
I feel like I've seen that.
Yes, that is
Once Upon a Time.
Sam Rockwell plays an employee at a water park. That is
yeah. Okay, I have seen that. Yeah, it's good.
I'm gonna go next. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say it with my whole chest. The Dark Knight is not a good movie. It's only good when Heath Ledger's on screen. That doesn't need to be defended. It's just a fact. Watch the movie again, and it's an absolute snooze fest if the Joker isn't on screen. It's so slow and so brooding and so like committed to the grittiness that it just winds up being a slog fest.
I'm gonna push back a little bit in general, just because essentially what you're saying is a movie would be bad without its antagonist, which yes, most of them I think.
No, I'm not saying the movie would be bad without its antagonist. I'm saying when he's not on the screen, it is not enjoyable to watch the movie. It's actually not fun. It's boring. He is the reason and only reason why this is a good movie.
I don't know. I still think Christian Bale is a great Batman. Makes it better. I think there's a lot of boring parts to it. I will give you that. But I think it's done intentionally because of the over-the-topness you get when you have Heath Ledger on screen.
I can't do it. It's so trash. What do you think? Who are you siding with here?
You're probably going to hate this, and the people are going to hate it more. I just don't care about a Batman. You use the words gritty and slogfest and boring, and I think that applies to every single Batman, in my opinion.
All right, so trash, not a fan of The Dark Knight. I can say this, like, I think what The Dark Knight did for the superhero genre, I don't know if it necessarily was a good thing. I don't know if that was a good thing.
In general, I have a hard time disagreeing with you, but it could be read as, and I'm reading it as, this movie was only good because it had one of the best actors of all time in it, which I think can truthfully be said about a lot of movies.
Yeah, but don't people say that Christian Bale was the best Batman?
I mean, he was.
So why are you saying that the best Batman can't hold up against Heath Ledger?
Because Heath Ledger made the best Batman the best Batman.
Right.
I think
that's Steve's take.
When he is not on screen, and I agree with Seth when he's talking about Gary Oldman being very good. He's talking about Gary Oldman as Commissioner Gordon in this movie. He is very good, but it's boring. I think he's doing a good acting job. No one's acting poorly. It's just a boring movie without him. When he's on the screen, it's exciting. When he's not on screen, it's just a lot of exposition dumping and a lot of Christian Bale growling at people. And that's not terribly fun for me.
That movie also falls into the bucket of most movies don't need to be 2.5 hours.
That's another thing. Like it was just too long. Jake, you said most sequels aren't bad. They just get a bad rep because of a good original. And our picture is Zombieland Double Tap, which I did enjoy. So I am kind of with you on this.
And guess what, Steve? Critics may not have liked it as much. It scored 20 points worse on the tomato meter. Would you be surprised for me to tell you that Zombieland 2 outscored Zombieland in the popcorn meter?
I would be very surprised. I do think Zombieland's a better movie, but I don't think this is a bad one.
Exactly. But that's like when you hear people talk about Zombieland 2 specifically, and this is what made me think of this as my hot take. Like, people talk about Zombieland 2, like the people who didn't like it just won't shut up about it. It's the vocal minority kind of thing, where they talk about how bad it was compared to the original and how poor X, Y, and Z is in the story. Guys, it doesn't have to be that serious. I recognize that Zombieland was phenomenal. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, unironically. Zombieland 2 was just as good. I have more fun rewatching Zombieland 2 than I did do rewatching Zombieland at this point. Like, to your point of things just have become way too serious. We're taking everything too seriously. Zombieland 2 is more fun, more straight up fun than Zombieland 1 is. They both fit the time that they came out with very, very well. They both hit the markets that they were looking to hit. And I'm talking about Zombieland here, but you can say this about so many movies that got sequels where people just absolutely dump on the sequel as if it's the worst pile of garbage that's ever been put together.
Here's why I think it happens. And I'm going to use a very specific movie example that I think might be the biggest culprit I can think of off the top of my head of committing the crime of what causes this to happen. Anchorman 2 is an example of a movie that I do not think it's a bad movie. I think it's goofy, it's over the top, it's ridiculous, and it certainly doesn't capture the charm of the original Anchorman. Because it committed this cardinal sin that a lot of sequels do, is that they take the parts that people loved so much about the original, and that's all they do. And they beat it to death. And that's what Anchorman 2 does, is it takes the absurd comedy and just says, we're going to crank it up higher. We're going to go more absurd because you loved the absurdity. And I think what happens is sometimes they lose the plot a little bit. What made Anchorman specifically so great is that you believed these people they bought into the character, right? It wasn't a spoof of Anchor people. It was like, these are just morons that happen to work as Anchormen. Exactly. Yeah. And it meant something to be an Anchorman to him. Like, that was like the point of the whole movie. And when Anchorman 2 came out, it was so big, and like Brick was just way out in left field, like way over the top ridiculous. Ron Burgundy turned into like a caricature of Ron Burgundy, who's already a caricature. And that's the problem, is you're taking these characters that are already caricatures and making them caricatures of a caricature, and that just turns into a distorted mess. Trash, where are you at on this?
And that's the sequel pitfall. That's just the sequel pitfall, because I think there are, for every bad sequel like that fell into that trap, there's another sequel that's great and that like took everything that people loved and did it better. Like, okay, let's look at Shrek 1 compared to Shrek 2.
Boom.
And they take like the musical numbers and the fun that we love, and we get like the fairy godmother musical number, and like it's all that and then some. And then they tried to replicate that and they fell off hard with Shrek 3, and like there's a 4, whatever. It's like, it just, you can't sustain it. However, you can have a really good sequel that can be just as good, if not sometimes better than the original. And like, I saw this, and I will say, I think that there are some sequels that can compete with the original. It's hard, but I think you're absolutely right on this, Jake. I saw it and I was like, oh, hell yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I think it boils down to like, if you don't keep the same crew, like obviously you're going to struggle. So like when you see the sequels that have different directors and different writers and all that, like, and I naturally assume it's going to be worse, but when you have good IP and you keep the same people with it and you let them develop the story continually, and they weren't relying on that absurdist humor, they weren't relying on that edginess, whatever it may be, they can create something just as good, if not better, when you give them more money, more time, better everything, versus you say, okay, this was successful, let's do that times 12. Like when you give them the creative direction, like if you were a studio giving a sequel creator creative direction, it's not going to be as good as if you just let people make their shit and enjoy it.
Right. If there's more story to tell, now I think Zombieland, you could go for 7 of these things, right? Like it's Zombieland. There's so many stories to tell. But when you run out of runway, you run out of runway. And when it's time to wrap up the story, it's time to wrap up the story. But a movie that most people consider one of the greatest of all time is The Godfather Part 2. It's a sequel. Yeah. Sometimes sequels are better. Shrek 2 is significantly better than Shrek 1. And I think most people agree with that. Guys,
I think it boils down to just the crew. Like if you look at Kevin Smith, when you let Kevin Smith just make his sequels, like Clerks 2 is, I think Clerks 2 is better than Clerks.
I agree.
Like if you let somebody just take their own IP and make it better, you're going to end up with as good, if not better, of a film.
Does this make anyone else hype for Freakier Friday? Because it's kind of making me hype for it. I might go rewatch Freakier Friday tonight.
That's why I'm in on it. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. Guys, we've reached that sad point of the show where it's time to say goodbye to the people. Trash, Jake, thank you so much for joining me here tonight. Everyone who watched, thank you so much for coming out and being with us here for this last hour. Please make sure to like, subscribe, share, all the good stuff to this channel. We are the only R-rated show left on the channel, so we are the only place you're going to find us swearing. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to be a part of the conversation, comment below. We'll try to get to your comments in the next show as well. But if you're here live with us, we usually do respond to comments as much as we can and love to discuss with you guys. Again, for myself, I'm Steve Lawson. That's Trash Sandwiches. That's Jake Parry. Guys, take it easy. Have a good night and keep it in between.